So, just to sum things up, I can tell that you have some sort of a chemical compound that you'll be able to add to your thorns, but I can't tell you what that compound's gonna do. The same way that I can't actually read your genetic structure in order to give you an apt representation of what's going on, and an exact measurement of what's going to happen. Ha! Rose's mother said, with a big smirk on her face. Looks like it's nature for the win. Your little toys can't do everything, now can they? Oh, come on, don't be like that. Trust me, I could get the information. But I'd also have to subject your daughter to a very intense amount of energy to bypass the field that she's producing. A level of energy that might be uncomfortable at the least, and extraordinarily painful if not damaging at the most. So, as I'm not the type of guy who's gonna do that, we're just gonna have to stick with the amount of information we were able to gather. Please stop hating on technology. It's not like I walk around saying plants are bad. I like flowers. I like trees. You know, we need them for air and stuff. Well, at least most people do. Air isn't exactly a requirement for me anymore. Regardless, I suppose we should get on with this, the man said. Next up on the scans, here at the palms of your hands, we can also see another set of large glands building up. Once again, I can't tell you what the chemical compound these glands are creating is, but they're definitely making it. And in a great amount as well. There seems to be a fair amount of internal pressure. Once again, I didn't spend a lot of time with your mother's people. They weren't exactly friendly to outsiders. So I don't know what they do, but you have them. Actually, curiously enough, there seems to be some overlap between the ones in your fingers and the ones in the palms of your hands. It looks like the ones in the palms of your hands are purely from that source, while the ones from your fingers seem to have a runoff connection, meaning that the substance that goes into the palms of your hands is filtered into your fingertips and will coat the thorns that you produce. However, it isn't purely that compound. They're also producing their own compound and mixing it in. It's basically a combination compound. I wish I could tell you what it would do, but honestly I don't know. But I can tell you, based on the amount of the hardening protein that's stored up in your fingers, that you'll most likely be able to project long nails that'll harden something to the strength of your average steel. That'll run most likely somewhere between 3 to 5 inches in length. Next on the list, we'll move to your head, he said, as the projection changed again. This time, zooming in on Rose's teeth. Here we can see more protein compound buildup. According to the scans, they're connected to your teeth. So, by the looks of it, just like your nails, your teeth will be able to extend, becoming long and sharp on will, hardening to something of the strength of your average steel. So, you weren't lying when you said you had strong teeth. By the looks of it, you'll be able to take a chomp out of just about whatever you want. The muscle grouping around your jawline is incredibly strong. I'm projecting about 7 times that of your average human being bite strength. And last but not least, the piece de la resistance, so to speak. The thing you probably have the most questions about, which is your bud. The bulb that's beginning to form on your back, he said, as the projection swerved around, turning to Rose's back, revealing a small circular shape beginning to form just underneath the skin. By the looks of the scans, you inherited your mother's full bud, of course. It's simply in the process of developing itself. But as I'm looking closely here, do you see these strange cords here running around the bud, he said, as They highlighted themselves green on top of the blue projection. These seem to have a very high concentration of nerve fibers in them, so they're exceptionally honed into your neural system at an exceptionally high level. And based on the scans, they're growing rapidly. There seem to be 4 of them, and they seem to be wrapping around the bud as it grows, compacting it, squeezing in on it. So your rosebud is actually much more compact than your mother's. Molecularly more dense, I suppose. If I were to hazard a guess, I'd say they were most likely stemming from your father's side of the family, the vines that their people are able to produce. We had thought that you might not have inherited them, but it looks like, just like all of your other abilities, they seem to have taken root in your mother's ability, which only becomes active after the bud. So, your vines are only growing in now, just like the rest of your abilities are only becoming active now. From what I can tell from the scans, your flower is going to be bigger than your mother's, meaning, of course, that you're going to have more petals than she does. At my closest approximation, I'd say at least 5, maybe 6. Unfortunately, once again, your field of energy is making deep scans and detailed information hard to come by. So I wasn't able to penetrate into the bud to see if there were any differences there. I was only able to get a basic outer scan. So there might be complications, differences between the way yours works and the way your mother's works. But other than that, I really can't give you any more information. That's the best I got. Well, at least from the scans, the man said as he finished his cigarette, and without any hesitation simply grasped it in his hand, clenching it tightly, putting it out by crushing it. The red-hot ember on it didn't seem to bother him at all. So, that's the scoop, kid. So tell me, what do you think? Whoa, Rose said. I mean, you're acting as if it was no big deal. Like you're disappointed with the amount of information that you got. But you basically told me everything. I mean, really, no regular medical lab could have told me that. Not without dicing me open or something, Rose said. So you get an A+. For performance and effectiveness, she said, raising a thumbs up. But I give you general personality a B-. In other words, work on your bedside manner, Doc. Ugh, please don't call me that, the man replied. Well, why not? You're basically our family physician now, aren't you? Yeah, I suppose you could say something like that. But I just don't like being called that. Trust me, I associate it with someone that I'd rather not be associated with. Fine, suit yourself, Rose replied. Regardless, I'm glad that that's all over. I actually kind of would have preferred it to be a surprise, Rose's mother said as she took a few steps towards Rose, giving her a gentle hug and pressing her face against hers. But I'm glad my Rose is healthy and happy anyways, and everything seems to be mostly as I expected it. Just like I told you, Rose, you've inherited things from both your father and me. But 6 petals? She said as she looked at Rose with a smile. You are going to be so beautiful. You know, on our home world, one of the most attractive features that a woman can have is the number of her petals. The more petals she has, the more beautiful she's seen as. It's rare that anyone has 4, but my little baby has 6. You're going to be astonishing. I can't wait to see your first bloom, she said, smiling. Those red petals just unfurling in the breeze, she said as she began to look towards the man, the king of Atlantis, sitting in her kitchen. Well, I hope this cabin that you have reserved has enough space for us and has an ample supply of nature nearby. This is meant to be done in a very natural setting. It is a bonding experience with nature, as well as a road mark in a young woman's life. She needs to be surrounded by the beauty of nature. Don't worry about it, the man replied. Trust me, I got you guys an excellent spot. There's no one around for literally hundreds of miles. You're up in the mountains. It's about as secluded as it could get. So, there's nothing dangerous there, right? No, there's nothing dangerous there. Or at least there hasn't been anything dangerous there for an exceptionally long time. So you don't have to worry about it. There's everything that you could possibly need. Running water, electricity, it's completely set up. As well as having an ample amount of natural trees, plants, animals, and a large stream that runs down from the mountain. So you'll have basically everything you need, including seclusion. And as always, I'll leave you with my phone. And whenever you guys are ready to come back, just give me a call and I'll come and pick you up. As easy as that.